So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Relative pronoun. I have already discussed about relative pronoun, but the rest part of relative pronoun I am going to explain. So, relative pronoun which, relative pronoun that, relative pronoun what, relative pronoun is. So, I am going to explain. So, be in mind that relative pronoun is very important for competitive examination up to CSS level. Relative pronoun is very important. So first of all, I will explain the usage of which. I have already explained the usage of who, whom and whose. Who, subjective case, whose, genitive or possessive case, whom, objective case. Whom can be used as a subjective case as well in the manner of respect only. So that is when previous lecture already recorded. So now I am going towards which, the usage of which. So how we can use which? It is used for animal and non-living things. Which को इस्तेमाल किया जाता है बतौर रिलेटिव प्रोनाउन एनिमल्स के लिए और नॉन लिविंग थिंग्स के लिए. इट कांट बी यूज्ड फॉर पर्सन. इसको पर्सन के लिए इस्तेमाल नहीं किया जाता. किसी भी एमसीक्यूज में, किसी भी कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशन में जहन में रखें, अगर विच को इस्तेमाल किया गया फॉर लिविंग और पर्सन, दैट यूजेज विल बी रॉन्ग. सो बी इन माइंड, वो इस्तेमाल गलत होगा. और यही जिधर लिखा होता है ना एमसीक्यूज में, डिटेक्ट द मिस्टेक, सो विच दैट विल बी द रॉन्ग यूजेज. फिर वही मिस्टेक डिटेक्ट करोगे. जिधर विच इस्तेमाल हुआ without animals or non-living means for person and living things. So how can we use? For example, the moment which is lost is forever. So I have already told that there will be a noun, pronoun is a subject of this sentence, and there will be a relative pronoun. So which is relative pronoun? Which is relative pronoun? I will use RP for relative pronoun. RP, relative pronoun. The moment, actually that is noun. Here it is antecedent. Antecedent. Antecedent is a noun or pronoun to which the relative pronoun refers. To which the relative pronoun refers. So, the movement is an antecedent of which, and which is the relative pronoun. The rest of the clause is lost forever. That we will call relative clause. And definition, relative pronoun is a word which creates a relative clause and gives information about the noun in the main clause. So the whole that is main clause, the movement is noun in the main clause, which is here relative clause, is lost is forever, that is relative clause. Relative clause gives information about the noun in the main phrase, and which is creating this relative clause, and which it is a relative pronoun. Relative pronoun. So be in mind. Again and again you should watch this video for the purpose, because relative pronoun, that is very difficult, usage is very difficult, and that is tricky as well for examination point of view. So the cow which I recently bought is not a good one. So the cow, that is noun, which relative pronoun I recently bought, relative clause. So that is, now we are going towards another that. The usage of that is very important, and that is very difficult as well. It contains various grammatical restriction. So be attentive towards the use of that. So What is that? It is used for person and for thing as well. Meaning which that can be used for animal, that can be used for non-living things, that can be used for living things, that can be used for person as well. So as far as the usage of that is concerned, it is very vast. So it contains grammatical restriction as well. So I will explain that in detail. So be attentive. The usage of that. It is used for person and things, for singular as well as plural. It has some important grammatical restriction. Number one, that has no genitive case. Every pronoun contains three cases. One is subjective case, another is possessive or genitive case, another is objective case. That contains no any genitive case. That contains no any genitive case. There will be no genitive case of that. When we are using that's, just we that it seems that it is a genitive case. Again, that thing is tricky. It can come in the form of MCQs. That's the genitive case, that will be wrong. Actually, that is contraction. Contraction, For example, aren't. That is the contraction of are not. Aren't. I am. I after comma and am. I am. We are. So all these are contraction. That is contraction of that is, not the possessive, not the genitive case of that. So number one, that has no genitive case. And number two, it is never used with preposition preceding. Preposition preceding, that we can't use preposition before that. When that is in a sentence, performs the function of a relative pronoun, performs the function of a relative pronoun, we can't use preposition before that. We can't use preposition before that. If there is preposition before that, that will be wrong usage. So be in mind. That will be wrong usage. For example, I know the house that he lives in. So I know the house. I know the house in that he lives. That will be wrong. In that will be wrong. That he lives in, that is accurate. Or for example, uneasy lies in the head. If there is uneasy lies in the head that wears a crown, that will be wrong. Because in preposition can't be used when that is here before that. So that is not preposition preceding. Preposition can't be used before that when that is used as a relative pronoun. So the accurate usage will be uneasy lies the head that wears a crown. In that wears a crown, that will be wrong. That wears a crown, that will be an accurate usage. That will be an accurate usage. So number one, that contains no possessive case and no objective case as well. Only it will be the subject in the form of subject, or subjective case will be used, whether it is used in place of object, whether it is used in place of possessive, whether it is used in place of subject. So be in mind. And another thing, it contains no preposition before that when that is used as a relative pronoun. So that is not preposition preceding. That is not preposition preceding. Grammatically we can say, uneasy lies the head that wears a crown. I know the house that he lives in. Lives in and can be used after that, but not before that. So be in mind simply. And number third, the relative pronoun is used in preference to who or which. Or we can say in place of who or which, we can use relative pronoun that. In preference, that is preferable. For example, when we are using who, And if we are using date is in preference. Date is meaning which the use of date will be more accurate where from the use of with respect to the use of who. सो हु से डेट का इस्तेमाल ज्यादा एक्यूरेट होगा अगर हम हु की जगह डेट इस्तेमाल करें अगर हम विच की जगह डेट इस्तेमाल करें तो ये ज्यादा एक्यूरेट होगा फॉर एग्जांपल द रिलेटिव प्रोनाउन इज यूज्ड इन प्रेफरेंस टू हु और विच फॉर एग्जांपल द सर्कमस्टांसेस दैट लेड टू द डिसीजन the circumstances, non-living, that can be used for non-living thing as well. The circumstances that led to the decision. The circumstances noun, that relative pronoun, led to the decision, relative clause. The circumstances that led to the decision are not known, are up to are not known, that is relative clause. So the circumstances noun, that relative clause, that रिलेटिव क्लास तो हम डेट का इस्तेमाल करेंगे इन प्रेफरेंस टू हु यहां विच भी लगा सकते हो द सर्कमस्टांसेस विच लेड टू द डिसीजन लेकिन अगर डेट और विच का मुकाबला आ जाए सो डेट इज प्रेफरेबल तो आपने डेट लगाना है विच नहीं लगाना एमसीक्यूज आ गया इसमें सर्कमस्टांसेस विच लेड टू द डिसीजन ब्लैंक स्पेस आ गया रिलेटिव प्रोनाउन के लिए विच और डेट आपको ऑप्शन दिए गए so you will give preference to that because that is more accurate, which is not wrong, but that is more accurate. So you will write accurate MCQs. So that is more accurate. The circumstances that led to this decision. Another thing, the man who I saw, that is accurate. But if we say the man that I saw, that is more accurate. आ सकता है MCQs के इसमें that की जगह हो the man I saw is not my friend. So ये blank space है इसमें that और who आ गया तो you will prefer to that. The man that I saw is not my friend. The man that I saw is not my friend. Again there is another usage of that. Another usage of that is when there is adjective. When there is adjective so we will use superlative degree with that. So I will explain. I am going to explain the next usage of that as well. Start. So I am going to continue the use of that. That का इस्तेमाल मैंने जारी रखा हुआ है तो जरा देख लें 3 तक हमने बता दिए मैंने बता दिया 4th use. Adjective will be used in superlative degree. Adjective will be used in superlative degree. When there is that is a relative pronoun and we are going to use an adjective, we will use only superlative degree. For example, this is the best that we can do. So grammatical restriction is here. एमसीक्यूज आ सकता है इसमें कि यहाँ सुपरलेटिव के अलावा पॉजिटिव डिग्री लगे कंपैरेटिव डिग्री लगे तो ये फिर गलती होगी यू कैन डिटेक्ट द मिस्टेक विद इन एडजेक्टिव एंड इफ देयर इज अ ब्लैंक स्पेस भी हो सकता है एमसीक्यूज में कि उसमें आ जाए और इसमें रिलेटिव प्रोनाउन दैट लगा हुआ हो और आपको एडजेक्टिव दिया जाए पॉजिटिव डिग्री कंपैरेटिव डिग्री एंड सुपरलेटिव डिग्री. So this is the best that we can do. So after relative pronoun that, before relative pronoun that, superlative degree will be used. Superlative degree of adjective we will use. So that is important. That when that relative pronoun is used in a sentence, we will use superlative degree. We will use only superlative degree with the relative pronoun that, superlative degree of adjective. Number 5th, after the word there are some word as well. तो उन अल्फाज के बाद भी आपने that ही का इस्तेमाल करना है अगर सेंटेंस में ये अल्फाज आ जाए सेंटेंस में आ जाए all. When all is used in a sentence, same, nothing, the only. When there is all in a sentence, you will use not who, which, whose, you will use only that. When there is same in a sentence, we will only use that. When there is nothing in a sentence, we will use only that. When there is the only in a sentence, we will use only that. So be in mind. And that is very strict grammatical restriction. And very important, very tricky as well. For example, all that glitters is not gold. So just see all. So we have used that. All which glitters, that will be wrong. All that glitters is not good. After all, we will use that. When there is all, we will use that. So he is the same man. He is the same man that brought the news. He is the same man that brought the news. So they, when that is used, when same is used in a sentence, we will use that only. So he is the same man that brought the news. So he is the same man that. So after same, that will be used. After same, that will be used. And number next, see, it is, I am going towards nothing, the use of nothing. It was not for nothing that he studied astronomy. हम कहते हैं ना, उसने वैसे तो एस्ट्रोनॉमी नहीं पढ़ी, उसने वैसे तो एस्ट्रोनॉमी नहीं पढ़ी. इसका इंग्लिश में ट्रांसलेशन किस तरह होगा? It was not for nothing that he studied astronomy. So when there is nothing, we will use that in a sentence. When there is nothing. So be in mind, all same, nothing, the only. आपको इस तरह फिंगर टिप्स पे असबर होने चाहिए. All, same, nothing, the only. When these words are in a sentence, you will use only that, relative pronoun that, only. So, it was not for nothing that he studied astronomy. Next, the only. Man is the only animal. Man is the only animal that can talk and laugh. That can talk and laugh. So, man is the only animal that can talk and laugh. So, there are very important fourth restriction are here with the four words: all, same, nothing, the only. All, same, nothing, the only. When these words are in a sentence, we can use only that, relative pronoun that. We can't use who, we can't use whose, we can't use which, we can't use what, etc. Only we will use that in a sentence. And number 6, after the interrogative pronoun, when there are interrogative pronoun who or what, when who or what are used as an interrogative pronoun, so we will use that. We will use that. For example, who am I? Just see, who am I? Who is interrogative pronoun here? Not a relative pronoun. Here, interrogative pronoun. You know, syntax, semantic and phonetics, and syntax is very important. So syntax, morphologically, the function of word in a sentence. Morphologically here, who is interrogative pronoun, not relative pronoun. Who am I? Relative pronoun who? That should punish you. मैं कौन होता हूँ तुम्हें सजा देने वाला? मैं कौन होता हूँ तुम्हें सजा देने वाला? Who am I? That should punish you. So that will be used when there is interrogative pronoun who. And next, when interrogative pronoun what? That will be used. What is it that troubles you so much? क्या है जो तुम्हें इतना तकलीफ दे रहा है? क्या है जो तुम्हें इतना तकलीफ दे रहा है? What is it that troubles you so much? So when there is interrogative pronoun what? Relative pronoun that will be used. Relative pronoun that will be used. So that is 6th grammatical restriction when that is used in a sentence. Number 7, when there are two antecedents, two pronoun, one or two noun, two antecedents, one represent person, another represent an animal. we will use that, not who or which, etc. We will use that. For example, after two antecedent, one denoting a person and another an animal, or second an animal. The boy and his dog. The boy and his dog. That had entered. That will be used. That had entered the house were turned out. The boy and his animal. One antecedent showing the boy, representing the boy, person. Another antecedent, his dog, showing an animal. When there are two antecedents, one showing, representing animal, another representing a person, that will be used. So all these are very important for competitive examination. Always such like question will come an MDCAT, ETA, CSS examination as well. So be in mind all these grammatical restriction with respect to the usage of that. So that relative pronoun, that is very important. Thank you so much.